Okay, people, today is another day and another day of fantasy fights. Now, people, if you have not checked out my other video where I was talking about starting this series of just picking characters and doing some fights, then go check out my last video, Arlong versus Don Krieg. Just some thoughts about what I think about how the fight would go between them. And in the comments of that last video, I saw an interesting one which I thought would be great for today. And of course, after this video, if you have a fight that you want to talk about, please do write it down in the comments, write down what you think about what I'm going to say. And of course, I will pick one, but I will try to pick one which are further back, because once again, it's just another series which I thought would also help get people who are far behind or just somewhere in the middle to, just make videos that they can watch as well, right? So today we're going to talk about Daz Bones versus Bellamy, and of course I'm going to take pre-time skip Bellamy because yeah, it's just a bit more fair that side, and we don't know much about Daz Bones in the post-time skip and what's going on with him. So of course for this one you probably just have to have watched the Alabaster arc and the Jaya arc, which is, I think, in terms of anime episodes, should be around episode 150. So not that much considering they are over 900 episodes. But once again, another interesting one. I thought it was very interesting because these are two characters, once again, who've never met, don't really know each other. But when I thought about the matchup at first, I thought, obviously, Daz Bones wins. How can Daz Bones not win, right? Daz Bones is the man who Zoro trained so hard. Like, he had to surpass his limits. He was bleeding out. He had that whole moment with the, cutting the leaves and then the rocks. Like, that was a whole moment of growth for Zoro, right? Some people even say that's when he unlocked some haki. But, it was a whole, how can Bellamy, who got knocked out with one punch, match that? And then I started to think about it, and then I said that, actually, now the first thing I do have to mention is the same thing I mentioned in the last video, which is that we first have to consider the characters of these, mentalities and personalities of these fighters. And I think that in this one, it's not going to go the way it went with Luffy. Well, for Bellamy, because with Luffy, there's two things there. One, Luffy doesn't look threatening, so Bellamy didn't take him seriously. Two, when he met Luffy, his bounty was lower, so once again, he didn't take him seriously. But in a fight against Daz Bones, who one, looks threatening just looking at him, and two, has a higher bounty. Daz Bones with a bounty of 75 million berries, and Bellamy had 55 million. So Bellamy would take this fight seriously, knowing that he's versus someone with a higher bounty who looks threatening. I don't think he would joke around as much as he did when he was fighting Luffy. That's why I think that this fight, again, would go differently, because he expects to go all out, probably surpass his limits during the fights. Daz Bones just always, he never takes it light on anyone, so Daz Bones doesn't really matter. So, the way this fight would go, right? And I think the main thing which I thought would really kind of determine the fight, that Bellamy, especially for Bellamy, because I'm trying to look at all the good things for Bellamy, because of course Daz Bones, it's easy, man. This man turns into blades, steel blades. So what can Bellamy do against steel blades? As much as, he can try do other stuff, right? What would be effective? And I thought about, the similarities between Luffy and Bellamy's fruit. Now, when Luffy fought Don Krieg, Luffy spent a lot of time doing bazookas, I think some pistols and some bells, to break Don Krieg's armor, which was actually made up of a certain type of steel. Can't remember the name, but his armor was made up of a certain kind of steel. Pointed that it was steel there, steel for Daz Bones. So it is possible to injure Daz Bones using repeated blunt force attacks. So Bellamy does have a chance. If Bellamy can keep going for blunt force attacks, hitting Daz Bones over and over again, it doesn't matter that Daz Bones is steel, at some point he will break. Now again, this is just a battle of attrition, who can last longer. And for Bellamy's sake, I'm pretty sure I can just assume that Bellamy has, in his fighting style, the ability back then to turn his arms into springs as well, not just his legs. Even though we didn't see it, it seems pretty natural, like, okay, he can do it with his legs, he can do it with his hands. Why is this important? I just thought that, you know what, in order to avoid maybe him getting sliced in half in close, range of Daz's bones, he would probably need to be able to do that. So I don't know, maybe like the springs can withstand like the slice, so like the springs won't get sliced basically, and then he can use that to like push himself backwards and avoid getting cut in half. And apart from that, I mean, unlike with Zoro, who has less mobility than Luffy and Bellamy doesn't need to like withstand some of like Daz's bones, long range attacks and stuff like that. He can simply jump out of the way. So Bellamy is not forced to like go to prove that he has high endurance, because he doesn't. He can just dodge, right? So Bellamy actually stands a chance, because the battle will be one where Daz's bones doing his attacks, he's fighting, and Bellamy's dodging here, dodging there, jumping around the place, trying to get as many hits as he can in on Daz's bones. Of course, Daz's bones is not just the guy who stands there and does attacks. He is a martial artist. Even without his devil fruit, he is pretty dangerous, as it's been said. So I don't think it still would be easy for Bellamy to just go in there and hit him and he'd be okay with that, or it'd be like that easy. So Daz's bones would probably still present quite a challenge, and the battle would hang on how long can Bellamy keep running around and dodging Daz's bones, and how long can Daz's bones take before he breaks, right? Before he gives in, right? And it gets to him the number of attacks. And based off probably the experience of these two characters, I'm going to probably say Daz's bones has the higher likelihood of winning this battle of attrition. Simply because Daz's bones, he works as more or less an assassin, right? I don't know if it's been said that he's exactly an assassin, but he gives off that vibe that if they said Daz's bones is an assassin, I don't think anyone would bat an eye, right? So due to him seeming to have more experience, due to him having more of a composedness in the way he fights, I expect that Daz's bones would be fully capable of winning. Like I said, he knows martial arts, so even without his devil fruit, he is pretty devastating in terms of fighting ability. And overall, I mean, all it would take for Bellamy to lose is literally him to slip up one time. Because one of Daz's bones' attacks, right? One of those attacks that Daz's bones gives out, if Bellamy got that, right? Hit that full force, like Bellamy is almost certainly out for the count. So literally it's too much hanging on Bellamy, like not making a single mistake and being on point completely. And for Bellamy's character, that's just not a thing, right? So overall, I would give it to Daz's bones, but I think it was a very interesting one because of just how the fighting style that Bellamy differs from the fighting style that Zoro has, and how different the fights would be. Because Bellamy wouldn't have that moment where he's losing blood and where he has to really think about the breath of all things or something like that. He wouldn't have that, right? He would have this whole moment where he's bouncing around avoiding attacks. So, like I said, Daz's bones would probably win this, no doubt. But tell me what you guys think. Do you think Daz's bones would win? Do you think it would be hard or difficult? If I had to name the difficulty, I would say, depending on how, competent Bellamy can be, mid to high for Daz's bones winning anyway, but mid to high diff. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Tell me what you think. Once again, guys, probably going to try to do this as regularly as possible every week, and feel free if you have matchups which you think that, hey, let's see what he thinks about this one, put it down below. Once again, guys, if you want me to take certain characters in the story, just tell me at what point in the story you want to take them. Even if it's a wash, right? If you want me to talk about the potential of this character versus another character, also put that down. Watch the other video if you haven't. Please like, subscribe for more content. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth about this fight, share this video with them. If you have time, watch one more video. If not, thank you for watching this video thus far. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next one.